I recognize the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Levin, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today in solidarity with transgender and non-binary young people and condemn the relentless, discriminatory anti-LGBTQ+ bills and hateful rhetoric we are witnessing across this nation. In recent months, Republican state legislatures and elected officials have targeted the LGBTQ+ community for cheap political gain and referred falsely to anyone who opposes attempts to infringe on the rights of others as groomers. There are at least 206 active bills across state legislatures this year alone that target the LGBTQ+ community. Here's a sample of this hateful legislation: excluding trans youth from participating in school sports, restricting trans youth from accessing the bathroom, banning curriculum to deny the existence of LGBTQ+ people in the classroom, criminalizing medical providers who provide gender-affirming health care, and targeting parents of LGBTQ+ children who simply want to support their kids as best they can. That's right, LGBTQ+ rights are being attacked from all angles. In Texas, providing gender-affirming health care is now considered, quote, child abuse, end quote, and parents of transgender youth face a real risk of being separated from their children. This month in Idaho, a group of extremists was arrested after plotting to riot and cause violence during a pride event. In recent days, as people around the United States have sought out the joyous parades and events that come with Pride Month, including in my own district, GOP politicians and preachers have put out calls for killing LGBTQ+ people. There is no doubt bigotry towards the LGBTQ+ community has grave and potentially life-threatening consequences. According to the Trevor Project, in the past year, 45% of LGBTQ+ young people seriously considered attempting suicide, including more than half of transgender and non-binary youth. Similarly, 93% of transgender and non-binary youth reported worrying about being denied access to medical care due to state and local laws. Mr. Speaker, I stand here today as the dad of a gay son and a longtime ally of the LGBTQ+ community to say that these radical policies have no place in America, and that this Congress must take concrete action. In February of this year, I was proud to vote to pass the Equality Act, which protects LGBTQ+ people from discrimination in jobs, housing, and public accommodations. While it would not undo every single one of these horrible state policies I've mentioned, it would go a long way to enhance the civil rights of the LGBTQ+ community and send the message that we stand against bigotry and hate. Unfortunately, the filibuster is holding this bill up in the Senate. One thing is for certain: the filibuster must be abolished to create any viable pathway to send the Equality Act to President Biden's desk. I urge my colleagues on the other side of the Capitol to hear the cries of LGBTQ+ community members, and particularly trans and non-binary young people who need these protections desperately and are counting on your support. Here in the House, our work is far from done. I'm glad we're considering the LGBTQI+ Data Inclusion Act, which improves data collection on sexual orientation and gender identity to provide better resources for the LGBTQ+ community, and so that we have the data we need to make good law. We must also pass legislation to provide mental health care for LGBTQ+ people, offer hate crimes protections, and uplift and support the dignity of all LGBTQ+ individuals across this nation. All of us, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity, must stand collectively against this hate and foster inclusion for all. Let's get to work. I yield back the balance of my time.